I'll get to know you a little further down the campaign, a little more intimately, but the intimacy of this night is something that is special because as we get a little further down the road, it gets a little more crazy. But again, I want to thank you for having me. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. A lot of people ask me why I'm running, and I really believe that the direction this country is going in is totally wrong. Through bigger spending, more taxes, and larger government. We got to get away from that. That's not what our forefathers intended for us to do, and it's really destroying this country as it was intended to be. Along with that, people ask the next question: if you being a professional athlete, what makes you qualified to be a congressman?
Please.
I kind of answered that with a question myself. You look at professional politicians and what they have done, especially professional politicians like John Adler, Nancy Pelosi. What have they done to this country? What has John Adler done to the state of New Jersey? Look at his stint in the state legislature for 16 years with the McGreevey-Corzine agendas, the more taxes, the bigger spending. And the mess that they've left that Governor Christie is trying to clean up right now. It's a shame that he's taking that same philosophy down to D.C. and doing the same thing with our country. And it's scary. And again, that's another big reason why I want to get involved in this. Because truthfully, I believe when you look at a professional politician, a lot of them are there because that is their career. They're going to do anything they can do to keep their job. I've worked my tail off. I've had my career. I'm doing this as an extension of my community service. Sometimes I know where I am over on the western side of the state, you may not get a lot of the stuff that I've done over there charity-wise. I'm on the board of the Alzheimer's Association. I've done tons of stuff for juvenile diabetes, Boy Scouts of America, numerous cystic fibrosis. There's so many of them, I forget half of them. But it's something that when I came to the Delaware Valley region and New Jersey, that I took a lot of pride in giving back to the community. And I still do it to this day, and I think that's a big part of why I want to do this. I think it's an extension of community service. Maybe it's a huge step, but I think that with where I come from and what I've learned through my life, that I have a lot of parallels, and the transition I don't think is going to be as difficult as most people make it out to be. Some of you may know that I grew up in the Midwest. I have a lot of lessons that I learned from my father, my dad was a UAW union auto worker in Flint, Michigan for 30 years. I watched that man do a lot of things in his life, but one of the most amazing things I learned from him was his work ethic. He did what he had to do to take care of his family. And when you look at someone like me, a lot of people want to say, you're a celebrity millionaire athlete. You have to go back and look at my roots and where I came from. I've been through what a lot of America is going through right now. In the early 80s, my dad was unemployed for 2 years. We lived through that type of stuff. We had a couple winters where my dad had to seal off the top of the house. Didn't heat the upstairs because we couldn't afford to pay the heating bill. Going through that type of stuff and that grit and that work ethic and that dedication to yourself, to your family, to do what you needed to do to make things happen is what made me what I am today. I was never the most gifted athlete in the world, was never the fastest, was close to the strongest, but was never really there. But it was the edges. It was, taking coaching from people, taking your work ethic and taking that with you every day and doing what you had to do to make it work. People always told me I couldn't do things. That in my athletic arena and also in this one. People tell me I can't do it. That makes me want to do it even more just to prove them wrong. And that's the kind of person I am. And that's really what I'm going to bring, that work ethic, that tenacity to this congressional run and take that down to DC and really turn this country around. I think we need to take, and I said it in the opening, we need to take this country and give it back to the people. The people are the ones that are going to turn this around. You look at all the money we're spending, no matter what it's on. This administration thinks that throwing money at everything is going to fix it. It's creating more problems. We have to get away from that. And the way you get away from that is you got to get the people back to work. That's the only way to do it. You can't spend your way out of anything. If you're having problems at home, you're not going to spend more money and hope it's going to fix itself. You cut back. It's common sense. And that's really kind of what I want to run on. I'm going to be a common sense conservative. When you really think about it. I said before, I take a lot of parallels from what I've made my profession as an athlete. And there's a lot of people that have influenced me, that I learn from on a daily basis, that I've relied on to do my job. And you think about it as being, you talk about teamwork, teammates and all that. That's no joke. People, chemistry is a big thing. And I think that is part of this campaign. This is a team. We're all in this together. A congressman is the voice of the team. And yet you still have to go out and you have to talk to the people that are on the team to take what they have to say and take that to DC and make those things happen. And that's what I intend to do. And I really look forward to coming out and really shaking everybody's hand, meeting all of you throughout this whole process and really getting to know you, because that's really who I am. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not a professional politician. I don't have all the answers, but I need all your help, because your ideas are the ones that we need to turn this country around. And with that, I think I've spoken enough, and I'm going to open up to the rest.
The normal procedure here, we're going to ask you 3 questions from us, and then we're going to open up the floor for questions. Question number 1 that I have down here is, do you believe that there is corruption of public officials in our Congress, and what will you do to stop that?
I think I think the obvious answer, corruption has many different levels to it, so if you general blanket it, yes.